That was an extraordinarily quick 12 minutes. Okay, so Nietzsche contends that, or his argument suggests that history is not the unfolding of progress. It's not the march of progress towards world spirit, to use Hegel's term, right? Indeed, one of Foucault's very good friends, Gilles Deleuze, in his fantastic book Nietzsche and Philosophy, wants to argue that Nietzsche's entire corpus was a reaction to Hegel, and there's something to that, right? The very way in which Nietzsche writes is a repudiation of Hegel. After Hegel, it was de rigueur that philosophers develop systems. Philosophy came to be seen as a systematic discipline, and Nietzsche writes largely in aphorisms, although On the Genealogy of Morals is far less aphoristic than many of his works. It's certainly not systematic, and his program in general is far from systematic. And so I have digressed again. Okay, so the effect of genealogy is essentially to show that particular systems of thought, which are the byproducts of contingent forces in history, rather than by any sort of necessity dictated by rational planning. And if you've ever read Milan Kundera's The Unbearable Lightness of Being, you know exactly what he means by this, right? What does Kundera argue? He says that, every single event in our lives, his meeting of Teresa, everything that follows therefrom, is the result of absolutely contingent decisions. Decisions that could have easily gone otherwise. Decisions that we can't always, in fact, most often can't account for or justify over other decisions that we may have made. So what Kundera does is he takes the historical perspective and brings it down to the individual level. I remember reading that book for the first time and just being absolutely blown away by it, because indeed, it seems it's very persuasive to me, this point of view. In fact, I got married because on the way back from a particular political function, one woman answered the phone as opposed to the other. For a period of time, both lines were busy. I came to the point to where I had to go one way or the other, one being here, the other being there, and this one answered. And what do you know? 2 years, 3 years later, I was married. Pshaw. Yeah, I mean, it's totally contingent. It was a matter of who answered the damn telephone first. It wasn't necessarily, it certainly didn't have anything to do with the fact that I preferred one to the other, at that point at any rate. And there are plenty of other examples as well. So the first employment of genealogical analysis by Foucault is in Discipline and Punish in 1975. What Discipline and Punish does, as I suggested earlier, is it catalogs a more gentle way of punishment to that of death and torture. However, what and Foucault is not interested in denying the genuinely enlightened perspective behind, or the genuinely enlightened impetus to this approach, to this transformation. What he does point out, however, is that the mechanisms employed to more gently correct can, and again, quite unconsciously, right? This is not anything that was planned. But what they can materialize in very subtle and even insidious ways.